Hello, football fans. I'm Jeremy, half of the Dads of Football. Welcome. Coming in here towards the end of the NFL draft. I was hoping to come in a lot earlier. However, there was some life events that were taking precedence over the NFL draft for both me and my buddy JT. Both of our events went longer than normal, so we wanted to come in at like 8:30 and rock an entire live draft with everybody, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. Events went late, but I know we both had some really good events. So that's awesome. So here I am. I'm on pick 24, and I will say this: at least I'm here at pick 24 rather than later on or earlier, because that would have been a long time to be on. And I have a lot of opinions on what's been going on. First live draft that I've done here with the Dads of Football YouTube channel. So just happy to have the opportunity to get on a little bit and talk some football. We are on pick 24, Detroit Lions, who we're waiting on right now. I've got my earpiece in. I'm listening to what's happening. I'm watching NFL.com on their live draft tracker. You might want to check that out. We just had Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver, LSU, going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville needed a receiver. So now that they have one, I think that will obviously help out their passing situation, make it a little bit more fluid than what we saw last season. And Brian Thomas Jr. may have the most upside out of any receiver in the NFL draft. Let's talk about why that is for a second. He didn't start playing football until, if I heard right, he was a sophomore in high school. So he doesn't have a ton of football experience. And he was 1,000-yard receiver already. Hold on. So Cowboys were on the clock. Cowboys traded the pick to the Lions. I don't know the details of the trade yet, but that's what caused the position to change from Cowboys to Lions. And it'll be interesting to hear who they get. Now, I might be lagging a little bit. That's why I like the NFL draft, NFL.com draft tracker, because that pops up quicker than it does on my actual YouTube TV, which I also have here on the side. So if you see my eyes going that way, that's simply because I've also got YouTube TV playing and I'm watching that as well. Going back a little bit, Quinion Mitchell was the first cornerback at pick 22 to the Eagles. I think they got a really solid quarterback. I would have liked it more if it was Cooper DeJean, but again, I'm a little biased because of my Hawkeye allegiance there. Yes, Quinion Mitchell is the fastest DB, but Cooper DeJean's a bigger guy, stronger guy, more athletic in my point of view. And you could say, well, wait a second. He ran a 4.43. This guy ran a 4.33. Okay, that's 40 times. He still had a better broad jump and he had a better vertical. So you can talk combine numbers all you like. But Cooper DeJean, I've watched pretty much every game the guy's ever played. And you have a true athlete, a guy that's going to return punts for you. But I think he turns out to be more of a safety. Now, they had him projected going to the Green Bay Packers at 25. We'll see if that remains true. And if all the prognosticators got this one right, that would be brilliant. But a lot of people think that's where he's going to go. Still waiting to hear where the Lions are going to go. They're showing their draft room right now. Sorry, I'm trying to see. I stopped the stream. Let's see. I mean, the pick is in. The pick is in. I'm going to go back to NFL.com and see what they say. Chop Robinson, 21. Good place to get Chop Robinson. Again, not crazy about Chop Robinson because of injury concerns. And if you're going to ask me, why don't I have injury concerns about Laiatu Latau? I do. Obviously, he had injuries in the past too that basically almost ruined his entire football career. University of Washington wasn't going to clear him. Basically made him medically retire. UCLA cleared him, and he had a brilliant season. Still injury concerns. Michael Penix Jr., the other injury concern. However, I think the Falcons can gamble a little bit because they have the reassurance that they already have a quarterback there. Penix is kind of a gamble. for the future. But he's the kind of guy that you'd want to gamble with because he has the arm and he has the brain. The knees are the knees. They're either going to stay or they're going to go. But as long as that arm is working, then hopefully everything pans out for him. And I would love to see that happen. Former Big Ten player at the University of Indiana, who then went to Washington and just absolutely exploded. I'm glad he didn't stay at Indiana. he was a problem. All right. Looks like the pick is about to be announced for the Lions. I'm going back and forth. Let me go down. I got excited because I thought I saw something. Commissioners talking. Not getting anything yet. Still waiting. As we're waiting to hear from that. Going back a little bit. I like Jared Verse going to the Rams. Amarius Mims to the Bengals. There's no bad player or a player that I thought was a huge overreach. I know that the people on ESPN, the commentators, were not crazy about Brock Bowers going to the Raiders. Brock Bowers is a great player, but yeah, taking a tight end at 13 when you have other needs on your team just makes no sense. I got to agree with them on that. So I like the player. I just don't like where he was picked. That's my only issue there. So I get what they're saying there. You already have Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, who you got in the second round last year. So they must have just thought he was the best player available. Still a curious decision. Terrion Arnold. Oh, Terrion Arnold. Okay. Terrion Arnold. Yes, people are going to say that he's a great quarterback or great cornerback, excuse me. He's not Cooper DeJean. He was the guy that everyone thought was going to go one, and probably until Quinion Mitchell ran the 4.33. So I guess that makes sense. He's also an Alabama guy. He had a great team around him. Cooper DeJean also had a great defense around him. Sorry, Hawkeyes, we can't say that he had a great offense around him because Iowa lived and died with their defense. Unfortunately, the defense was on the field for most of the time. I can't go wrong with that pick. And it's looking like Green Bay should get the pick that everyone thought that they were going to get. Everybody was saying that Cooper DeJean would probably be the third cornerback off the board. I thought maybe his pro day might move him up a little bit. It doesn't seem to have done that. It is what it is. Here's what the NFL Network is saying that Green Bay needs. They need a D lineman, a defensive back, or I'm sorry, D lineman, linebacker, offensive linebacker, cornerback. Well, you're not going to take a linebacker. If you take a linebacker in the first round, then you are really doing something wrong. I don't think there's a linebacker to take in the first round. So then that leaves you defensive lineman, offensive lineman, corner. To me, the draft experts are going to have this one right. I think Cooper DeJean is going to go there. It'll team him up with Lucas Van Ness, former teammate. They like taking Hawkeyes. Hopefully both guys pan out. And they're saying the pick is in. We're just waiting to hear right now who that pick is. I've been talking nonstop for the last however long the stream, 8 minutes. 8 minutes. I did a dry run before with a different stream. I was trying some different streaming software only to find out that my mic was muted the entire time. That was fun. But hey, hopefully you can hear me on this one. If you can't, I don't know what to say. It shows that my little thing at the bottom is going green. So it sounds like I have a microphone, which is good. And I can see the mute button there and all that jazz. So first time we've done a live stream. Since I'm doing it on the computer, Tesh is not able to join me. I was trying it out on Zoom, but we were having some issues. So he wasn't able to jump on with me. So it's me running solo until the end of the draft, which isn't that far away considering pick 25 is in. That means there's only a few more picks left. It's 10:07. Technically, this thing is slated to go till 11 o'clock. I think we're going to end earlier than that. I can't cross my fingers. I'm trying to cross my fingers. Fingers crossed that it doesn't go any later than that. I can't imagine that because the picks are dwindling down here. So while we wait for the Packers to come in, I'm going to talk about one little thing here that I would have done differently based on how things panned out. Quarterbacks. Originally, I thought my Minnesota Vikings would take Bo Nix, and I thought the Denver Broncos would be sitting and would eventually get JJ McCarthy. The Vikings trade up, decide that they want to go all in on JJ McCarthy at number 10. To me, that's too high. I know a lot of people love him. They think that the offense at Michigan just wasn't meant to be in terms of pure passing. They had two amazing running backs in the backfield. The lack of repetitions that he got passing at the University of Michigan, that's what has me concerned. Yes, he has a good percentage. He has a good touchdown to interception ratio, but he doesn't have the reps that all the other quarterbacks have. I would have gone Bo Nix instead of JJ McCarthy. But hey, Minnesota Vikings are they got a quarterback, and they ended up taking Dallas Turner at pick 17, who to me was the best defensive end in the entire draft. So I think they got a steal at 17. I would have been happy if the Bears took him at 9. Now, I told everybody, if you have Rome Odunze at 9, you take him. But if they decide they'd rather go with a defensive end, Dallas Turner. So the fact that I could have seen him going at 9 and he went at 17, the Minnesota Vikings may have the best value pick with Dallas Turner. Some people may say, no, Chop Robinson at 21. Again, injuries. Let's see if he's able to stay injury-free for the Miami Dolphins. He wasn't able to do it in 3 seasons at Penn State. So why would he be able to do it in his time at Miami? I just can't imagine it. Physical specimen, terribly injury prone. I hope I'm wrong. Again, I don't want to see anyone injured, but that's Chop Robinson's the injury guy that has me the most freaked out. I'm less concerned about Penix and Latu than I am with Chop Robinson. He's the one that would freak me out the most. So just throwing that out there. Let's see. They're still talking Terry and Arnold. Still waiting to see who they're going to take. Come on, Cooper DeJean. Come on, Hawkeyes. Cooper DeJean. Let's do it. If you're a Hawkeye, you want Cooper DeJean. I want Cooper DeJean. We all want. Come on, Cooper DeJean. Let's do it. Let's get him in there. Waiting. It's weird seeing Nick Saban at the table. I got to say, it's a really bizarre thing. You feel like you should be like, wait, Nick Saban, why are you here right now? You should be out coaching or recruiting players, or here he is. Pretty cool. Obviously, you have the best college coach of all time. Does that make him the best coach of all time? I don't know. I think you have to put the distinction between college and NFL football. Obviously, when he went to the Dolphins and the pros, it didn't go too well for him. So college, he did all right there. I don't think any college coach is going to be able to equal what he did in terms of national titles. All right, come on, Packers. I keep going back and forth between YouTube TV. Oh, no. Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle out of Arizona. Now, when I say, oh, no, that doesn't mean Jordan Morgan is a bad pick. It just means that I was really hoping that the Packers were going to get Cooper DeJean out of the University of Iowa. My Hawkeyes, go Hawks. They didn't take him. Ah, man, are you kidding me? If Cooper DeJean doesn't go in the first round, I don't know. I don't know. That's crazy. Now, speaking of injury prone, you could say, oh, well, Cooper DeJean's coming off a broken leg. Broken legs heal. It's not an ACL. The dude just ran a 4.43 at his pro day. Okay. So I'm not worried about his leg, and he is not injury prone. I mean, he was an Ironman at Iowa until that leg broke during a practice. So, hey, maybe that's an Iowa thing. Maybe don't wreck your guys during practice. Don't go full go live wrap. That would be my thing, because it took your best player off the field. So there's that. Still waiting for this next pick. We got Tampa Bay coming up. According to the NFL Network, they need an offensive line, a cornerback, and a linebacker. Again, the linebacker depth in this draft is very weak. There's not a whole lot there. So I just don't see that happening. I don't see a linebacker going in the first round, period. I just don't. O-line corner, maybe they go corner. I'll bet you Tampa may have been hoping for Jordan Morgan. Jordan Morgan is a very talented tackle. Easy to see that he would be the guy that you would take next, considering that the other tackles were off the board. But he was definitely behind the others that have gone. And there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 taken before him. So the run on tackle definitely I would think is just about up. But again, this is an incredibly deep draft in a lot of different positions minus linebacker, or at least inside linebacker. Inside linebacker, this is not the best draft. So I'll correct myself and say that. At inside linebacker, this is a weak draft. I thought I talked about Brian Thomas Jr. being the best value bet at wide receiver because his potential has not been tapped yet. He's a guy that started playing receiver as a sophomore in high school and ended up being 1,000-yard receiver in college at LSU. So you got that. Dallas Turner, talked about him. Byron Murphy, D tackle. It'll be interesting to see when the next D tackle goes off the board. I'm just going to go through the picks here. Number 26, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have offensive line, cornerback, linebacker. Arizona Cardinals at 27. They need a number of things: a receiver, a corner, a running back, offensive lineman. I don't see a running back going in the first round. As we know with running backs, the depth just isn't there with them anymore. Uh, there's such a running back by committee now. I find it hard to believe that a running back is going to be taking in the first draft. And case in point, no running back has been taking in this draft. That's not surprising. Wide receivers are deep, very deep. So will be interesting to see. Do they go receiver? Do they go corner? Do they go a different offensive lineman? Pick 28, Buffalo Bills. Needs. With Diggs gone off to the Houston Texans, you need a receiver, a D lineman, and a running back. They're not taking a running back in the first round either. There's enough good running backs down the line that you could grab a couple guys and you'll be fine. D lineman, that could be an interesting one. Dallas at 29. Needs for them: offensive lineman, running back, D line, wide receiver. I don't know. That'll be an interesting pick. I think the Cowboys could have the most interesting pick here during the latter half of the draft right now. That'll be interesting. Baltimore Ravens at pick 30, offensive lineman, wide receiver. Do they snag a receiver at that position? Interesting. San Francisco 49ers at 31. Need a corner. Oh, sorry, my computer's wigging out. Need a corner, offensive lineman, receiver, linebacker. And then at 32, Kansas City Chiefs, receiver. I feel like they always need a receiver. Kansas City always needs a receiver. Obviously, Rashee Rice is going to be suspended for a chunk of the season, considering his hit and run case that was very well publicized. Where do they end up going? And who would you take at this point in terms of wide receiver? That could be an interesting one. And also, I'll go to, I'm going to open something up here. I'm going to take a look at guys on a big board right now. I have to do some computer magic here to get my stuff going on. Again, I had to kind of throw this live stream together at the last second because of events running so late. And of course, my network's running slow right now. So that's beautiful. Let's see. I don't want that. Let's see. And I'm keeping an eye too on picks that are coming in. Again, the computer at NFL.com has been going faster than the pick is in for the Buccaneers. Pick is in. Let's see who the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select with the 26th pick. Still waiting on it. I feel like they're dragging this out now to try to make this go till 11 o'clock at night Central, if you end up watching this, simply because the pick is in, and then it's taking minutes for the pick to actually come in. So that's a little bit annoying. Man, the one thing you're seeing with these teams, they need corners and receivers. All right, it's in. Here it is. They selected Graham Barton, center out of Duke. Well, they did need a lineman. Another offensive player, as they just brought up on ESPN. He would be a center. He would be the center that you'd probably think. Now, if we're talking receivers, here are some of the guys that could go off the board within the next few picks or earlier, whatever you want to say. Ladd McConkey out of Georgia. Here's the thing. If you look at the NFL Network's order of receivers, I mean, it's interesting now because Ladd McConkey, a lot of people think, all right, he'll be the next one. Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky, I don't know. I'm not taking him that early. Troy Franklin out of Oregon, Adonai Mitchell out of Texas, Roman Wilson out of Michigan, I think is horribly overrated. Xavier Worthy, very interesting guy. I think he might, I don't know. Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy, Adonai Mitchell. Who's the best receiver out of that group? I think Worthy could jump Mitchell as a pro. He has that type of potential. I like Xavier Leggett out of South Carolina. I just don't think he's the kind of guy you take in the first round just because the value there collectively in the NFL, they haven't assigned him that type of value. So I think Xavier Leggett will fall. I think he will fall to the second round. I even had him possibly third round, but considering how many receivers are flying off the board, good chance that he might go second round. Oh, here we go. Ooh. So you got Darius Robinson, pick 27, Arizona Cardinals. D tackle, D end. You could play him kind of in multiple positions. He's a guy that was rated very highly. I mean, there's no real guy that looks like a reach right now. And maybe that's because the depth is so good at every single position that you really don't have to worry about reaching for a player right now because there are so many good players that could go in the first round. Again, might be some of the best depth that we've seen in an NFL draft in recent history. I mean, it is strong. I was going through receivers. Between Xavier Leggett and the rest of the group, there's a big gulf there. Your second tier receivers, which Leggett is kind of like on the boundary between first and second tier in this draft. In other drafts, he might be a first round pick. Keon Coleman out of Florida State, although he had a really bad combine. So I bet you a lot of people aren't too high on him right now. Jermaine Burton out of Alabama didn't really live up to the hype. Jalen Polk out of Washington, kind of like your next guy. Jacob Cowing out of Arizona. I know a lot of people are high on him. I'm not. Yeah, and then you're just going further and further. I mean, Jalen McMillan out of Washington, I think is an intriguing prospect, but now you're talking guys that are the type of guys that you grab and you hope turn into something. We're now like in the fourth rounders here. So don't think we're going there, but I'll bet you we do see a receiver in the next few picks. That's what I'm guessing right now. And watch, now that I've said that, I'll be totally wrong. So with Darius Robinson off the board, we're at number 28, Buffalo Bills on the clock. And again, as a recap here, what do the Bills need? Receiver, D lineman, running back. I would be shocked if I'd be shocked again if anyone took a running back. Don't think it's going to happen. D lineman. That could be interesting. Uh, I'm scanning through my big board here. If you're talking D tackle, Jay Newton out of U of I, to me, is the guy that you go with as a D tackle if that's what you're looking to take, a defensive tackle. Tavondre Sweat out of Texas. Yes, I think he's going to be good. However, he does have some baggage. He did recently have a DUI, so that could be a problem, and that could keep teams away from him. I'm just looking at some of the interviews that they're doing on ESPN right now during the draft. Buffalo Bills have a minute and 8 seconds to get their pick in. This is about as far down as I've seen a team go with their pick. And that's because there has been a trade. They have traded their pick to Kansas City. Woo! Wow. Okay. That's a bit of a surprise. Kansas City moving up to take pick 28. So it looks like you have a pick swap between KC and the Buffalo Bills. So literally moving up 1, 2, 3, 4 spots, a whopping 4 spots to take a pick. Kansas City must be locked onto a guy. And now we're talking, were they taken? Well, Rashee Rice is out. So they need a receiver. Who are you taking? That takes us back to the receivers. I know I just did a big preview on all of those guys there. If I'm picking a receiver, who do I take? I take Ladd McConkey, Georgia. Done. Ladd McConkey, Georgia. That's who I think they're going to take. If they don't take him, who would they take? If you don't take McConkey in the first round, who do you take? And I'm looking at the names. The only other name that's jumping out at me that I would consider in the first round right now, Adonai Mitchell. So to me, McConkey or Mitchell, that's my 50-50. That's my prediction. So far, I haven't been I've been okay. I haven't been great. I didn't have Jordan Morgan. I had Cooper DeJean. Kansas City doesn't need, well, they could use a corner. Man, if I'm still waiting to see Cooper DeJean. To me, that's what the draft is right now. Who's going to take Cooper DeJean? Who's going to take Cooper DeJean? If you're not an Iowa Hawkeyes fan, sorry, I am. I'm waiting for Cooper DeJean. I'm kind of disgusted that he's fallen to 28. I think that's just, yes, I'm saying this because I'm a Hawkeye fan. Cooper DeJean will be the steal of the first round draft if he's taking in the first round. That's kind of not a big if, but it's getting iffy. I mean, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks left in the first round. So that's where we're at right now. Ooh. Getting some bad commercials. Still waiting to see. Pick is in for Kansas City. Obviously, the pick is in because the Bills were down to a minute, so it makes sense that they're, sorry, quaffing my hair. I've had to change clothes like 5 times today because I've had a load of stuff going on. So again, miracle that I even got to the computer because of everything I had going on. But I wanted to make sure to jump in live, and I know JT would have loved it too. Just wasn't able to make it happen. So let's see. Man, I am curious to see what Kansas City does here. You would think with Rashee Rice out, receiver, unless as a team, if there's a guy that you've fallen in love with and you're saying, oh my gosh, we didn't think he'd be here, we'd have to take him, you could do that. Who would that be? Who would that be? I'm reading a little bit more closely into the draft analysis. Yes, they have Hollywood Brown, so maybe that moves them away. They also have a decent, well, they lost a corner. Well, they could go corner. Um, I forgot about uh, yeah, replacing L'Jarius Sneed. I don't know why I didn't think about that. I was so obsessed with Rashee Rice being out that I'm thinking, "Oh, corner." I didn't or go receiver. I didn't think about L'Jarius Sneed. The fact that he's not there anymore, what do you do? Maybe this is Cooper DeJean. All right, I'm gonna throw him in the mix too. All right, I'm gonna go McConkey, Adonai Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. Those are my three. The fact that they moved up, now I'm thinking, with Snead out, you do have another receiver in Hollywood Brown. Um, yeah, you don't really like who else they have at receiver, though. I mean, it is a Kadarius Tony was terrible. Sky Moore, You they threw out Troy Franklin's name on ESPN. I'm listening and I'm waiting for the pick to come in because I'll bet you on the NFL Network, it's going to come in first on NFL.com. I'm waiting. Oh, okay. Waiting on the pick still. So again, my three names: McConkey, Mitchell, DeJean. Come on, DeJean. Come on. I'm so curious. Pick is in. Cowboys are already on the clock. We're just waiting to hear who was picked. We'll see what happens. Still waiting on the pick. All right, so here we are. It's 10:30 right now. Oh my gosh. Kansas City selects Xavier Worthy out of Texas. Xavier, I all right, back it up like 10 minutes ago. What did I say? I said Xavier Worthy could have a chance to be better than Mitchell. I didn't think that a team was going to put Worthy ahead of Mitchell. I was just thinking out loud from my eye test. And what did they do? They take Xavier Worthy. Whoa. Okay. So right now we're seeing that I'm not batting 1,000 right now. Um, man, I might be batting 200 with the way I'm going right now. So not quite what I expected, but that's a gutsy pick taking Xavier Worthy. Again, many people wouldn't say he was the best receiver at Texas. A lot of people would say Mitchell was the better of the two. But I said I saw enough potential in Xavier Worthy that he could one day jump Mitchell and be a better professional. Obviously, the people at Kansas City thought the same thing. That's why they selected him. Now, what does that mean? It means that McConkey's still available. It means that Cooper DeJean is still available. Dallas Cowboys do not need a cornerback. They do not need a cornerback. They need a tackle. They need a center. I don't see another center going in the first round. Linebacker, again, little weak in this draft at linebacker, but that's inside linebacker, not necessarily outside linebacker. Huh. Interesting. Their pick is in. We're waiting to hear what it is, but their pick is in. Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. And I'm going to zoom in here on the Baltimore Ravens too. Baltimore Ravens receiver D line. No, I'm sorry. I somehow clicked on. offensive line wide receiver, uh, as the top spaces there. So interesting. Interesting. What is Dallas going to do? What are they going to do? Right now on the NFL, or I'm sorry, on ESPN, they're kind of knocking Xavier Worthy for his lack of size. Not so much height, but as far as mass, 165 pounds. It seems just like receivers are not having to put on the same mass that they once did. That more guys are looking to be more shifty, speedy, quick receivers. I don't know. Different eras, right? I mean, if you look at the NBA, the age of the big man is kind of done, and the big men that you have are tall and lanky, not Shaquille O'Neal anymore. So it just might be an eras thing in terms of the difference of the receivers today from my generation. When you had bigger dudes like Terrell Owens back in the day. Oh, Cowboys offensive tackle Tyler Guyton, Oklahoma. Interesting. Tyler Guyton. And already the Ravens have their pick, and they wasted no time. Again, you still have several good receivers out there. Ravens could use another receiver. Will be interesting to see. Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. Mm, I think we're starting to see some of those guys that easily could have gone in the second round who are being upgraded because of what teams had. Guyton is a good player. I had Guyton as a second rounder. I did not have Tyler Guyton as a first round pick. So that to me is the first real reach. Well, maybe not the first. Maybe Xavier Worthy was a little bit of a reach too. Um, Guys that probably by their name would have had 1-2. Guyton would have been maybe more of a clear number two. Now, if we're talking tackles, you might be seeing that teams are getting a little desperate because so many tackles have flown off the board that it's kind of like, well, man, maybe I have to pick a tackle earlier than I would have liked to because we're not going to get a quality tackle. So right now we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 offensive tackles, 8 tackles, making up almost a third of the first round draft. Now that's pretty remarkable. Almost a third of the draft has been offensive tackles. Whoa. Um, yeah, I mean, you're seeing a big drop off. Now that's not to say that there aren't good guys. Blake Fisher out of Notre Dame would definitely be a reach for me at this point, in terms of offensive tackles that you could still take with the few remaining picks that there are. Matt Goncalves out of Pittsburgh, like him, but too early. Um, Kingsley Suamatea out of BYU. I like him a lot, but he's not going to be a first rounder. But he's good. He's really good. I would definitely look at him in the second round, and then it drops off from there. But those are the guys that I like. So Fisher, Goncalves, and Sumatea are my guys. Suamatea, excuse me. Those would be tackles if you're going to take a tackle. Pick is in for the Ravens. We're still waiting to hear or see, in my case, again, the NFL.com draft tracker online proving to be much better than watching for it. Still waiting for it. So literally last 3 picks, and then we can all go to bed. It's 10:37. Maybe they do stretch these last 3 picks over 23 minutes. I'm sure they have downtime to talk and decompress and do all that crap. But that's where we're at right now. So kind of interesting. Mm, let's see. Let's see what happens. Baltimore Ravens. Man. Well, let's take a look at guards too. I was just looking at tackles. I mean, They are a team that could go guard. Um, let's see. Guards. All right, guards a little bit thinner, quite a bit thinner, considering we haven't had a true offensive guard taken in the draft yet. Cooper Beebe out of Kansas State, maybe. Um, uh, I, Zach Sinter out of Michigan. I don't know. He's good, but not first round good. There are a lot of guys that are lower on the list that I like later in the draft that I would take a chance on. And Isaiah Adams out of Illinois, Trevor Keegan out of Michigan, definitely not first round, maybe not even second round, but later on, good value picks later in the draft, just not now, just not in the second round. So where do they go? Where do they go? Oh, 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 oh. Nate Wiggins out of Clemson is who the Baltimore Ravens selected. Man, oh man. So, as the announcers just said on ESPN, he ran a 4.2840 at the combine. He's fast. He's talented. He's not Cooper DeJean. And now I'm a little worried for Cooper DeJean not making it out of the first round. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm kind of perplexed at this one. Not that Nate Wiggins got selected in the first round. I'm not perplexed by that, but the fact that that Cooper DeJean's falling out of the first round when there was so much hype about him coming out of his pro day, a little sad to see that happen. Now, Wiggins has the numbers, but again, a guy that as a corner is 6'1", 173. He's pretty slight. So that's the one thing. Cooper DeJean is thick. He's strong. I don't think Nate Wiggins is that strong or physical. I completely disagree with what I'm hearing right now from the guys. They're talking about him as this big, strong guy. He's got height, but he's not strong. I mean, he's a twig. He's in the 170s. I was 170 as a senior in high school. So now he's playing in the NFL. So I don't know. Um, Man, yeah, are we seeing it where teams are falling in love with the combine numbers instead of what they purely see on tape? Because yes, Wiggins is really good, but if you go from the last 2 seasons on Cooper DeJean's film, the dude made more plays, much more impressive plays. And let's take this opportunity to just throw this out there. No, it wasn't a fair catch, by the way. Um, if you know, you know. Go Hawks. My Hawkeyes know what I mean by that. Cooper DeJean, as a kick returner alone, is going to have an impact on a team. If you don't have him as your kick returner, then you're doing something wrong. But whoa, 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 whoa. We are in the final 2 picks between the San Francisco 49ers, who do need a cornerback, and the Buffalo Bills, who don't need a cornerback. Oh, man, it just kind of seems that if Cooper DeJean doesn't go to the San Francisco 49ers, he's not going in the first round. That might be my guy that is the surprise fall again. I'm biased. You see the Hawkeye behind me. It's just a little bothersome that that he's still on there. Hey, 10:43. They are going to pull out these last 2 to the final, man. They're not going to let these go quick. Um, to San Francisco's credit, they're only showing up as on. Oh, it just switched. I just saw the switch go from on the clock to the pick is in. Buffalo Bills are officially on the clock. What are they going to do with their pick? If you were to ask NFL.com, they would say they need a receiver, a D lineman, or a running back. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Now, 49ers aren't going to add to their D line. They got players there. Uh, man, yeah. If Cooper DeJean's going to go in the first round, it has to be to the 49ers. And to make just making sense of this, yes, they could use added support at receiver if they're in fact losing Brandon Ayuk, because there's lots of speculation that he is not going to be with the team because he's on contract extension talks. But what's going to officially happen? Do they preemptively select a receiver to try to replace Brandon Ayuk, who's probably going to be leaving? Or do they go with a corner? Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. I just hope for Cooper DeJean's sake that he gets picked. Just pick him. Come on. Give the Hawkeyes a first round pick. He's the only guy from the Hawkeyes that had a chance in going in the first round. I am surprised, though, he didn't go above some of these corners. So there's 1, 2, 3. 3 corners off the board, unless I'm counting wrong. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 corners. That would make Cooper DeJean the 4th corner if he goes at this point to the San Francisco 49ers. But hey, it would be a good place for him to go. You're going to a good team that was just in the Super Bowl. Another Hawkeye to add to the group. We already got the tight end over there. So we'll see what they end up doing. TV showing that the pick is in, but of course they have 15 minutes remaining, so they have to stretch it out so we don't have so much dead air where they just ramble. Hmm. Let's see. We're still waiting. Again, NFLdraft.com. If you want to, at some point I'll go back, edit this, and I'll put in the link there. If for tomorrow you have round 2, 2 and 3, and then final day you have rounds 4 through 7. So you have 2 days worth of draft. Oh my God, Ricky Pearsall out of Florida, 49ers. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. And now commissioner is going to say the same thing what I just said. I could just his voice is like listening to nails, man. A guy with the flattest voice on earth, whatever. Ricky Pearsall goes to the 49ers. They like Ricky Pearsall. He would not have been the receiver that I would have picked at that spot if I were to pick a receiver, but he was high up on draft boards, just not on my draft board. And I'm okay with that. Let's look up some numbers on Mr. Ricky Pearsall. Let's go behind the numbers a little bit because I feel bad. That just tells me that Cooper DeJean not going in the first round. What a tragedy. If you're a Hawkeye fan. Well, if you're an NFL team and you take Cooper DeJean, then you are getting yourself a first round corner and arguably the best corner in the draft in my eyes. Yes, you Terry and Arnold fans and Quinion Mitchell fans can argue with me there. I'll still put him up there. Then again, could put him at safety. We got a trade. It switched from the Bills to the Carolina Panthers. Interesting. Carolina Panthers, what do they need? Receiver, tight end, corner, D line. Oh, interesting. Interesting. they're praising Ricky Pearsall at this pick. Now, Ricky Pearsall had a good 2023. 65 receptions, 965 receiving, 4 touchdowns. Good, not great. Granted, Florida Gators were not very good. So he did a good job for not having a great team. Put up productive numbers throughout his career. For 2021, had 580, 661 in 2022, and then 965 last season. So he's trended up every single year in terms of yardage. Not a bad pick in terms of just pure production, but again, just hasn't impressed me as much as some of the other guys that are on the board. Not the sexiest pick there. Now, the fact that the Panthers they're talking about on ESPN where they're going to go next, and they're talking about all the shortcomings present on the Carolina Panthers. The pick is in. It is 10:49, 10 minutes left. Let's see if they can draw this out another 5 minutes. So they only have 5 minutes of decompression time, which is quite possible. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just trying to think of where they're going to go. Do they say, oh my God, Cooper DeJean? How did they leave Cooper DeJean off the board, or on the board, I should say, on the board for the entire first round? We can't leave. He was our top rated corner and he's still left. Let's move up and take him. Let's see if they do that. I just don't think it's going to happen because I've been preaching Cooper DeJean this entire time more than any other player because of my bias. That's what happens when you don't have Josh with me. I'm going to talk about Iowa players the entire time. Drink every time you hear me say the word Iowa, right? Man. Receiver, tight end. Oh, man. Edge rusher, corner. It just seems like edge rusher and corner are kind of like peripheral. Their offense is so bad that you really okay. Well, here's where Ladd McConkey would make sense because Ladd McConkey's still on the board. So Ladd McConkey, I'm going to say Ladd McConkey going to the Carolina Panthers. Maybe they said, how could you have left Ladd McConkey on the board? He is a first round wide receiver. There is no way you could leave him up there. So McConkey, Cooper DeJean, one of these guys is going to have their heart broken and not going to be a first round pick when they probably deserve to be first round picks. If you're telling me right now, Ricky Pearsall over Ladd McConkey, I'm taking Ladd McConkey over Ricky Pearsall. That is a little surprising. Xavier Worthy, I could look at the potential and say, sure. Ricky Pearsall, nah. I would have gone with Ladd before him. So McConkey, I'm going to say they go with McConkey because they need an offense. They need to do. Oh my gosh, Xavier Leggett, wide receiver, South Carolina, is the pick. A guy that I thought was a second rounder jumped up to the Carolina Panthers. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I'm muting it. So the first round draft is over. The final pick is in, and it's Xavier Leggett out of South Carolina. I like Xavier a lot. I think he's a really good receiver. I think he's going to be good for them. I'm just surprised that considering the name recognition that McConkey got, that he got passed up by Worthy, Pearsall, and Leggett. I'm just really surprised by that. So Ladd McConkey and Cooper DeJean go to round 2. That's going to be interesting. Now, just previewing round 2 for tomorrow. First 5 picks. We'll just go first 5 picks if you needed any refresher. Buffalo Bills, since we had that trade, Buffalo Bills, because originally Panthers didn't have a first round pick since the Bears had it. Uh, Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, Arizona Cardinals, Washington Commanders, LA Chargers. Those are your 5 teams that are picking in the next few picks. Bills need a receiver. Ladd McConkey? Maybe. Patriots need a lot of things. They got their quarterback. They could also use a cornerback, a receiver, offensive line. They could use everything. Arizona could use a little bit of everything. Washington Commanders could use a little bit of everything. LA Chargers, your best guess anywhere you want to go. So yeah, surprising to see that McConkey and Cooper DeJean didn't make it in the first round. They make it into the second round now. Whoever gets them, it's a steal. Hey, it's been fun just rambling, talking about the draft. Probably not doing a live stream for round 2, but probably will do some reaction to the NFL draft after day 1. Hope to have something out to you tomorrow talking about, in hindsight, once I've had a little time to process this, what do I think about the picks? What are the maybe 3 biggest, 3 best choices? Maybe 3 best surprises. I'm kind of speaking this through right now. 3 best surprises, 3 worst choices. Maybe we'll do something along those lines for tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for chilling. I'll see you next time. Take care.